I know who I am now. I am Fanny Dosser, second wife to James Dosser and sister to Caroline Dosser. I had 8 beautiful children, and I kept a fine home. I lived and loved. And I served my neighbors and my town. And even though I doubted my self-worth sometimes, Caroline knew it from the start. Caroline knew that I deserved family, love, and a beautiful life.
That is what I love about Jonesborough. We are all family here.
Yes.
Some of us more literal than others. My husband, John, worked for James and his sons, and 2 of our children, Fane and Dosser, married one another. My name is Fanny Ray Fane, but my story did not begin here. It began in Blountville. That's where I was born and raised, the daughter of Samuel and Martha Ray. I married John, and we had a farm there. And that's where we were living when the war come through. With John off fighting, I was alone with 3 small children and expecting a 4th. Little James was born in 1863, right in the middle of the war. Part of me wants to forget that period ever happened. But a bigger part of me knew that it had to be remembered. So I kept a diary. And sometimes it was the only thing that was holding me together, keeping me sane. November 15th, 1863. Several months have elapsed since I last opened my book to record any of the transpiring events of the day, and equally as many changes have taken place, if not more, as months passed. Since then, we have had wars and rumors of wars, fighting and bloodshed in our own little town. During the months of June, July, and August, nothing special took place. We all were then busily engaged in trying to make and put away things for winter use. I canned a good deal, knowing everything would be scarce and hard to get this winter. We had just gotten through with those things when, lo and behold, a very sudden and unexpected Yankee raid was made to our town Saturday, September 19th, a little after sunup. From that time to this, we had nothing but war troubles and soldiers in our town all the time. They went to Bristol and had a little skirmish with the Confederates, burnt commissary stores and a small bridge beyond Bristol, and fell back here at night, camped on the field belonging to John at the head of the town, burnt rails, and threw down fencing. They arrested several persons in Bristol, guarded them in the courthouse that night. Soon, here come the Confederates in hot pursuit. All day Monday, they were coming and going. All the while, both armies were stealing horses. All the morning, Mr. Fane and John were out trying to get back Father's horses, which were stolen the night before. The hardships did not end there. I watched as my neighbors' homes burned, and sadly, some of them perished there as well. John came home for a little while in 1863, but in 1864, he was forced back into service. I was alone to tend the children and the farm, all the while watching his aging parents. Months and weeks would go by, and I'd have no word from Mr. Fane. I marked time in my diary, hoping that it would pass all the faster. February 19th, 1865. This is a bright, beautiful, quiet day. I attended church, heard Mr. Alexander, chaplain in the army, preach. He had preached here once before. I had prepared myself to listen to a good sermon, but I must confess I was much disappointed. When it came, it was nothing but heaping abuses, railed out against the North and Northern people. This war, he said, was brought on by the fanatics and the abolitionists of the North. Then he spoke of slavery, how it had been written and preached upon in the North, that there they called for an anti-slavery Bible, that if our Bible recognizes slavery, then we will reject it. They wanted an anti-slavery government and an anti-slavery people. And that fanaticism and infidelity were the ruling principles of the North. And all other kinds of ism, universalism, Unitarianism, women's rightism, etc. Now all this was on the part of the North. And the South, he seemed to think, comparatively speaking, was faultless. It was once that our best preachers and teachers in the South hailed from the North. Now, it seemed that nothing too bad or too unchristian can be said of them by their brethren in Christ's ministry. Oh, this wicked, vile war! What a division it has made! What wickedness and unkindness it has brought about! I wrote to remember. I wrote so that others would remember, so that it would never happen again. After the war, we moved to Jonesborough. All of us. We lived at 127 East Main Street. In 1873, my John passed away. But I remained here. This is where I belong. Now, this was my community. I had come here with war wounds, and together we had found healing and home. So, what will you write for those to come?
What will you build?
What bridges will you cross?
What adventures will you dare?
Just a funny thing, a certain thing, a humbling thing. So a message to you, our visitors. When you come to your spot on the hill and you gave all you could so that others might live, then you must sit with the things you did and did not do and find your peace at last.
There's a spot on the hill where you look down below at the town that bustles and the town that flows and the town that does nothing but grow, grow, grow.
And you see what you gave and all that you did, the sacrifice you made for your spot on the hill. What will you say when they come to your grave and ask,
what brought you here?
Why did you come?
Why did you stay?
what have you given?
What price did you pay?
Why
Are you buried here?
What will your answer